To Washington, where we are approaching the one-year anniversary of the deadly January 6th insurrection. Just this week, the D.C. Attorney General filed a civil lawsuit against two far-right groups, the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, along with dozens of their members, alleging they participated in a coordinated attack aimed at overturning a lawful election and interfering with government functions. Joining us tonight is D.C. Attorney General Karl Racine. Thank you so much for your time, Attorney General. Glad to have you with us. I want to get to your lawsuit in just a minute, but first, longtime Trump advisor Roger Stone today pleading the Fifth to every question asked of him by the House Select Committee investigating that January 6th Capitol attack. What do you make of that?
Well, under our Constitution, of course, individuals who are called to testify before a civil or criminal body in a mandatory way have the right to assert the Fifth Amendment when they believe that their responses could result in their being criminally prosecuted. I think it's important to note that many people have testified before the Congressional Committee and did not assert the Fifth. I can't get in between of Mr. Stone and his lawyer. What I can tell you is that Mr. Stone and others obviously have made their intention known. They have, riled up people, incited people, and they've told many lies in the last 5 years. Maybe there's a reason why he's taking the Fifth.
Yeah, Mr. AG, there have been now more than 700 people arrested for crimes related to the attack on the Capitol. Just today, one of the protesters sentenced to 5 years in prison. So why also bring this civil lawsuit?
History teaches us that accountability, an American value, restitution and recompense, an American value, seeking civil and criminal justice, American value, actually deters future illegal conduct, including insurrectionist and hate activity. That's why we brought the suit. If you go back and look at things like the Ku Klux Klan Act, passed in order to make sure that organizations like the Ku Klux Klan followed federal law, right? This is a lawsuit that is backing up the law. And the law tells us that you cannot violently attack the Capitol. You can't bring a wooden gallows ready to execute people. And you certainly cannot beat and maim police officers. That's why we're doing this. We're standing up for the Metropolitan Police Department and the District of Columbia that itself was a victim on January 6th.
So obviously you are hoping to send a message. You have said that the criminal cases have provided explicit evidence of conspiracy that implicates both the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. Walk us through what you consider to be some of the more concrete evidence that these groups are responsible and not just the individuals who were physically at the Capitol.
Sure. Well, organizations are made up, of course, of individuals. They have an organizational structure. They call meetings, they communicate, they direct people as to how they should act. I'm the Attorney General. I run an organization called the Office of Attorney General. I literally do get together, make a plan, ask people to do certain things. The evidence shows that the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, well before January 6th, and shortly after President Trump made that comment in the debate with Joe Biden about stand back, but stand by, we're ready to go. And once the president of the United States started talking about January 6th going to be a wild and crazy day, come up to Washington, oh my goodness, the evidence shows planning, orchestration, organization, all about coming to January 6th and heading to the Capitol to create violence. We have all of that evidence in documents, in videos, and of course, everything you saw on January 6th. You remember men in backpacks, earplugs in their ears, clearly communicating, marching up the Capitol steps with ropes, and again, wooden gallows. That wasn't spontaneous. That was planned. I can't wait to make our case in court.
We are watching some of the images to which you are referring, and I think most Americans were outright shocked by those days' events. But generally speaking, even as we watch this video, it can be tough to establish the existence of a conspiracy or that a group incited violence, even in a civil case. So what are some of the challenges you anticipate as this case moves forward?
You're right. It is tough, and it should be tough to prove anyone certainly criminally liable. That's not our case, or to impose financial penalties. Our standard of proof, of course, is preponderance of evidence. And there's going to be a judge who's going to make sure that our case only survives if we've produced enough evidence and we've shown that the law that we've cited actually applies. We believe that the documentary, visual, and admissions that we've seen already in the criminal cases will overwhelmingly establish our case far beyond a preponderance standard, which is our standard. And we're very confident that a judge, whether that judge was appointed by a Democratic president or a Republican president, will follow the law and process, and a jury will determine that these folks and the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers violated the law, and they did something that we're not doing. They decided to proceed in a violent way in a country of laws that has a civil process. We're proceeding in a civil process, civil procedure, and we're going to prove a case. They get a chance to defend it, but we've got the evidence. And here's the deal. In America, you cannot storm the Capitol violently to prevent a peaceful transfer of power. That happens in other countries, and that's why we're the greatest country in the world. We're standing up for that notion.
Now, one part of your lawsuit, or rather omission, is that it does not name former President Trump as a defendant, nor any of his top aides or allies. Did your team speak about making him a defendant, or is this case meant to be a separate one in the future? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, again, organizing, planning, participating. With respect to the president and people who spoke on January 5 and who spoke on January 6, including former President Trump, let me just tell you straight up, our investigation continues. As you know, in a civil case, it's not at all unusual. Indeed, it's the norm to add defendants to a case or sometimes take defendants off if we later find that our allegations, that's what they are right now, were incorrect. So I certainly believe that the President of the United States invited this. My personal view is that he incited this. We're going to continue our investigation and let the facts lead to its natural conclusion. We're not afraid to add the president or anyone else if we believe we can establish the case.
D.C. Attorney General Karl Racine, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
John Mosley, a lawyer representing one of the leaders of the Proud Boys and a member of the Oath Keepers, told ABC News that he is, quote, confident these groups don't disagree with the idea of a lawsuit for those who are responsible to reimburse the District of Columbia, but they strongly deny that they are the ones who committed the acts alleged in the lawsuit.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.